Level 1. The Deep Web. Google, YouTube, Wikipedia, social media, everything you've ever searched, clicked, or scrolled through. That's the surface web. The visible internet. The part that search engines can find and index. The other 96%, that's the deep web. It's not hidden because it's illegal. It's hidden because it's private. Your email inbox is on the deep web. So is your bank account, your medical records, your Netflix subscription, even your company's internal database. Every time you log into something with a password, you're entering the deep web. Search engines like Google use programs called crawlers, digital spiders that follow links from page to page, indexing everything they find. But these crawlers can't get past login screens. They can't enter passwords. They can't access content that requires authentication. So the deep web stays invisible, not because someone is hiding it, but because it was never meant for you to find. The term was coined in 2001 by computer scientist Michael Bergman, who realized that the internet most people see is just the surface of something much, much larger. Some estimates suggest the deep web is 500 times bigger than the surface web. Most of it is completely harmless, even boring. Corporate databases, academic archives, government records. But deeper inside, there's a smaller layer, a place where the rules change, where anonymity isn't just possible, it is the whole point. That's the dark web, and that's where things get interesting. Level 2. Silk Road. In 2011, a 26-year-old physics graduate from Texas built Amazon for drugs. Ross Ulbricht called it Silk Road. To access it, you needed Tor. To pay, you needed Bitcoin. There was no Google search for it, just whispers on forums and encrypted messages. Ulbricht operated under the name Dread Pirate Roberts. He saw himself as a revolutionary, not a criminal. The marketplace had rules: no weapons, no stolen data, and no child exploitation. Just drugs. Lots of drugs. At its peak, Silk Road had over 10,000 products: cocaine, heroin, LSD, ecstasy, and even prescription pills. Buyers left reviews like rating a product on Amazon. Sellers competed for 5-star ratings. It was organized crime with a user interface. Between 2011 and 2013, Silk Road processed $1.2 billion in transactions. Ulbricht collected around $80 million in commissions. Then he made one mistake. Years earlier, he had posted on a Bitcoin forum promoting his new project. And in that same thread, he asked developers to contact him on his email. His real name, his real email, tied forever to Silk Road. An IRS agent found it. Not by hacking Tor, but by Googling the earliest mention of Silk Road and following the trail backward. On October 1, 2013, FBI agents arrested Ulbricht in a San Francisco library while he was logged in as administrator. They seized 144,000 Bitcoin. He was convicted on all charges and sentenced to 2 life terms without parole. He was 30 years old. Silk Road was dead, but it had proven something dangerous. Anonymous markets could work. Within months, successors appeared: Silk Road 2.0, Alphabay, Hydra. Each one bigger, each one harder to kill. Ulbricht built the blueprint, and the dark web has been following it ever since. Level 3. Hackers Market. On the dark web, your entire digital identity is for sale. Your name, your social security number, your date of birth, your credit cards, your passwords, bundled together and sold to the highest bidder for less than the cost of dinner. Your bank login? $200 to $1,000, depending on the balance. A complete identity package, what hackers call fulls, goes for $20 to $100. Your medical records? Up to $500. Netflix password? $4. These aren't random transactions. They happen on organized marketplaces that look like Amazon, with search filters, vendor ratings, customer reviews, and even refund policies. The most notorious was Genesis Market. It didn't just sell your passwords, it sold your digital fingerprint, your cookies, your browser data, your saved logins, everything a criminal needed to become you online. Over 2 million identities were listed for sale. Prices started at 70 cents. In April 2023, the FBI and 17 countries shut it down in Operation Cookie Monster. They arrested 119 people and searched 208 properties worldwide. But 2 weeks later, Genesis was back online. Different server, but same business model. The dark web data economy generates hundreds of billions annually. Every breach you read about, every company that regrets to inform you, feeds this machine. Your information doesn't disappear. It gets packaged, priced, and sold. Somewhere right now, someone might be buying you. Level 4. Hitman scams. Almost every hitman for hire site on the dark web is fake. Sites like Besa Mafia, Kimura Hitman, and the Hitman Marketplace promise to connect you with professional assassins for $5,000 to $20,000 in Bitcoin. They have price lists, customer testimonials, and even consultation calls. They look terrifyingly real. But they're all scams. In April 2022, Romanian police arrested 5 men running these sites. They had collected over 500,000 euros from thousands of customers worldwide. Husbands ordering hits on wives, business partners targeting colleagues, even a man who wanted to kill a customer service rep over a gambling dispute. None of the murders were ever carried out. The hitmen didn't exist. But here's where it gets dark. The customers were real, their intentions were real, and police got their names. When hackers leaked Besa Mafia's database in 2016, the FBI started tracking the clients. A woman in Illinois paid $12,000 to have her lover's wife killed. She pleaded guilty to attempted murder. A man in The Hague offered $4,000 to murder his ex-wife, describing her car, her workplace, and even her schedule. He got 8 years in prison. And in Minnesota, Stephen Allwine paid $6,000 to have his wife Amy killed. The site took his money and did nothing. So he did it himself. The scammers walked away rich, but at least 25 of their customers are now in prison. Not for being scammed, but for trying to commit murder. The dark web didn't give them a hitman. It gave them a confession. Level 5. Luca Magnotta. In 2010, a video surfaced online. A man suffocated 2 kittens in a vacuum-sealed bag. No face, no name, just cruelty. The internet has one unwritten rule. Don't mess with cats. Within days, thousands joined a Facebook group to find him. Amateur detectives analyzed every frame, metadata, background details, and reflections. And they identified him, a failed Canadian model named Luca Rocco Magnotta. They reported him to police, but nothing happened. Magnotta kept posting. A kitten drowned. Another fed to a python. He created fake fan accounts praising himself. He infiltrated the Facebook group hunting him, watching them watch him. Then, on May 25, 2012, a new video appeared. 11 minutes. A man tied to a bed, stabbed with a screwdriver painted silver to resemble the ice pick from Basic Instinct. The killer dismembered the body while New Order played in the background. The victim was Jun Lin, a 33-year-old Chinese engineering student. Magnotta mailed Lin's hands and feet to elementary schools and political party headquarters. One package included a note. Roses are red, violets are blue. The police will need dental records to identify you. Then he flew to Paris. Interpol issued a red notice. An international manhunt began. 11 days later, Magnotta was arrested in a Berlin internet cafe, reading news articles about himself. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life. The amateur detectives had warned police for 2 years that animal cruelty escalates. Nobody listened until Jun Lin was dead. Level 6. Playpen and FBI. In February 2015, the FBI took control of Playpen, the largest dark website dedicated to the exploitation of minors. Over 215,000 users, 23,000 images and videos of children as young as toddlers. But they didn't shut it down. For 13 days, the FBI ran the website themselves. They kept it online, continued serving content, and deployed malware called a network investigative technique to every visitor. The code exploited a vulnerability in the Tor browser, revealing users' real IP addresses and sending them back to FBI servers in Virginia. The operation was called Operation Pacifier, and it worked. Nearly 900 people were arrested worldwide, 350 in the United States alone. 51 hands-on child abusers were prosecuted. At least 296 children were identified or rescued from their abusers. The creator, Stephen Chase, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. But the operation ignited a firestorm of controversy. For 2 weeks, the FBI, a federal law enforcement agency, became one of the largest distributors of the same illegal content they were investigating. Defense attorneys argued the government committed more serious crimes than the people they arrested. During those 13 days, visitors accessed at least 48,000 images, 200 videos, and 13,000 links. When courts demanded the FBI reveal how their malware worked, prosecutors dropped charges against defendants rather than disclose the technique. The Electronic Frontier Foundation called it the largest law enforcement hacking operation in American history, conducted on a single warrant that was meant for one district but searched computers around the world. The FBI's position was simple. The ends justified the means. They rescued children. They caught predators. But they also proved something disturbing. Sometimes, to catch monsters, the government becomes the monster. Level 7. Pegasus Spyware. Your phone can be hacked without you doing anything. No link to click, no file to open, no mistake to make. It's called a zero-click attack. And the most powerful weapon that uses it is called Pegasus. Developed by Israeli company NSO Group, Pegasus is spyware sold exclusively to governments. Once installed on your phone, iPhone or Android, it has total access. Messages, photos, emails, GPS location, and even contacts. It can activate your microphone and camera without your knowledge. It turns your phone into a 24-hour surveillance device in your pocket. NSO Group claims Pegasus is only used to fight terrorism and serious crime. But the reality is different. In July 2021, the Pegasus Project, an investigation by 80 journalists across 17 organizations, revealed a leaked list of 50,000 phone numbers selected for potential surveillance. The targets weren't terrorists. They were journalists, human rights activists, lawyers, and politicians, like French President Emmanuel Macron. Nearly 200 journalists from outlets like CNN, The New York Times, Al Jazeera, and The Washington Post. The fiancée of murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi, her phone was infected just 4 days after his assassination. The implications are staggering. Governments used anti-terrorism tools to spy on their own citizens. Reporters, dissidents, opposition leaders, anyone inconvenient. In November 2021, the United States blacklisted NSO Group. Apple sued them. The European Parliament launched an inquiry. But Pegasus is still out there. And the zero-click vulnerability means that right now, someone's phone is being compromised, and they'll never know it happened. When a journalist asked a security researcher what people can do to protect themselves, the answer was simple: nothing. Level 8. Stuxnet. In 2010, inspectors at Iran's Natanz nuclear facility noticed something strange. Centrifuges were failing at an unusual rate, but nobody knew why. The answer was hiding in the code. Stuxnet was a 500-kilobyte computer worm, the first digital weapon in history designed to destroy physical infrastructure. Created jointly by the United States and Israel, under a classified program called Olympic Games, it had one target: Iran's nuclear program. The facility was air-gapped, completely disconnected from the internet, so the attackers found another way in. Infected USB drives, carried unknowingly by workers and contractors, bridged the gap. Once inside, Stuxnet searched for Siemens Step 7 software controlling the centrifuges. When it found the right configuration, it struck. The worm commanded the centrifuges to spin at 1,410 Hz, far beyond safe limits, then slowed them to a crawl. The aluminum rotors warped. They tore themselves apart, but the operators saw nothing. Stuxnet fed false data to their screens. Everything looked normal. By the time Iran discovered the malware, nearly 1,000 centrifuges were destroyed. Almost 1/5 of their enrichment capacity was gone. Stuxnet proved something the world had never seen. Code could now cross from the digital realm into physical destruction. Stuxnet was just the beginning. And the next level? We might not see it until it's already too late. If you made it this far, thank you. Make sure to subscribe for more stories like this, and let me know in the comments what stories you'd like to see next.